This is really cool, figuring out what your mind-body type is. We all have one, and it actually drives and explains everything that we do in our life. Hi, I'm Karen, a holistic psychotherapist, and I welcome you to this video and my channel. And I want to tell you that this is exciting, so get excited. Ayurvedic lifestyle instructor, have been so for the last few years. Actually, I went to the Chopra Center University to train as an Ayurvedic lifestyle instructor. So we are talking today about Ayurveda and figuring out what your mind body type is. Ayurveda is the oldest medical system in the world. It is 5,000 years old and it predates traditional Chinese medicine, or TCM. And we know that traditional Chinese medicine is really old, yet Ayurveda is actually its parent medical system. Ayurveda actually is the parent system to all medical systems. Our medical system here in the West is only 200 years old. It's actually a real baby when it comes to medical systems. And the Western medical system focuses on symptoms and fixing symptoms. There's a real need for that, but Ayurveda is even more complete science or medical system than that, because it seeks to understand you, all of you. It seeks to understand your body, your mind, your heart, and your soul, and seeks to correct and heal all of those for a perfect balance and to optimize your health. Ayurveda is a Sanskrit word that means science or wisdom of life. It's a complete medical system, and it seeks to heal the root cause of disease, not just its symptoms, but its root cause. Ayurveda attends to the body, the mind, the emotions, and the spirit, as true healing really needs to attend to all layers of life. Are you with me so far? Discovering your own mind-body type will guide you into choosing specific foods that are right for you, specific activities that are right for you, like what kind of sports should you be doing, what kind of sports activities should you be avoiding, as well as particular lifestyles that you are best to follow to optimize your health and well-being. Have you ever wondered why some people have an easy time losing weight and why some people just can't seem to lose weight? Or why some people tend towards anxiety or irritability under stress and other people just want to hide? That really has to do with our mind-body type. It's really a profoundly important thing to know what your mind-body type, so that then you can choose the right tools to get you back to a state of balance that is unique to you. Mind-body type, or dosha as it's referred to in Ayurveda, is really your blueprint to your health. Three main mind-body types, or doshas. We have Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. So when we think of Ayurveda, actually everything in Ayurveda comes down to the 5 elements of air, space, water, fire, and earth. So everything on earth and in the cosmos universe is made up of these elements. People with the Vata dosha tend to be made mostly out of air and space. People with the Pitta dosha are made more with fire and water, and those that are Kapha are made up of water and earth. In Ayurveda, everything can be categorized as either a Vata, Pitta, or Kapha process, thing, material thing, or like even the seasons can be categorized as a Vata season, Pitta season, or Kapha season. Everything in our bodies, all of our digestive processes, even aging, the stages of life can be categorized as these 3 things. But just so that things don't get overcomplicated, some of us can fall into the category of Vata if we're made up of mostly air and space, Pitta if we're mostly made up of air and water, air and fire and water. So all of us can fall into either the category of Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. Vata if we tend to come from air and space, Pitta if we tend to come from the elements of fire and water, and Kapha if we come from earth and water. There are 3 main doshas or mind-body types, and 10 in total, depending on how they're combined. So you can be Vata Pitta, Pitta Kapha, Kapha Vata, you could be Pitta Kapha, and so 10 in total. And you can also be tri-doshic, which is an equal proportion of each of the doshas, but that one's very rare. So let's talk about Vata first. A Vata person tends to be of a thinner frame, more frail frame. They tend to have cold hands and feet, and tend to have a very active mind. So they're quick to think, their thoughts are always moving fast, they're very creative, but their bodies tend to be a little bit on the thinner side. For Vatas, I like to think, if I were to connect it to an animal, I would connect it to a hummingbird. Imagine a hummingbird that moves around very, very quickly, but they're very small and fragile. That to me would be Vata. And that's because Vata is the principle of movement, or it governs the principle of movement. So anything that moves is governed by the principle of Vata. And so people who are of the Vata constituency or Vata mind-body type tend to move quickly in body and in mind. So when they're imbalanced, a Vata person, it can look like anxiety, insomnia, and constipation, because they do tend to run dry. People of the Vata mind-body type do need to drink lots of water because they tend to excrete a lot of water. So it's actually really good to eat salt if you're of that mind-body type, because it will help you retain a little bit of water. Vatas are balanced. They're very good communicators. They're very creative. They show initiative and they are adaptable. People, on the other hand, tend to be a little bit more fiery, and it's actually represented in how they look. Pittas often have red hair or auburn hair. They are of average build and average muscular build, but their minds tend towards being type A. So they're good leaders. They're very good leaders, but they just have to watch about the type A personality. They're also very competitive, and so not exacerbating anything that would be competitive would help them balance out. The principle that drives Pitta is transformation, and so Pitta people have really good sex drives, they have really good digestion, and they tend to not need as much sleep. They are balanced. Pitta people are bright, warm, and good leaders, and they also have very strong digestion. But when they're unbalanced, they tend towards irritability, acidity, or indigestion, as well as inflammatory conditions of the mind and the body. In the body, it can look like indigestion or irritable bowel syndrome, and in the mind, it can look like anger, irritability, being judgmental. An animal that well represents the Pitta people or Pitta mind-body type is a lion, with its fiery mane and its good muscular structure and its good leadership. And the third mind-body type or dosha is Kapha, and it's made of earth and water. And so earth is very grounding, it's stable, it's heavy. And so these are the kinds of people who have more weight on them. They tend to have great endurance, great stamina. They make really good friends because they're loyal, they give great hugs, they're laid back, but they do tend to have excess weight on them. Kapha people are slow moving in thought and in physicality. So they move slower, they think slower, they take longer to make decisions, but they are very, very sweet people. In balance, a Kapha person is very consistent, supportive, loyal, and can go the long haul. When they're not in balance, they seem to cling and be attached, as well as avoid the situation. So under stress, they tend to put their heads in the sand, kind of like not attending to the conflict or the situation. They tend to avoid conflict. So the animal to me that represents Kapha is the turtle. It is slow moving. It can hide in its own house, its own shell, but makes a really, really long, enduring friend or pet. As a reminder, your mind-body type is assigned to you or given to you at birth, and it has to do with the elements that were around at the time of your conception. Your mind-body type is enduring. It does not change throughout your life. It is your blueprint, yet you can have imbalances of another mind-body type. So for instance, you can be a Vata mind-body type, but have a Pitta imbalance. So for instance, you have irritability. That is absolutely gonna happen. You're gonna have imbalances of another type of dosha, but it's important to first figure out what your blueprint is. And so I invite you to go down in the description box below where there's a link for you to take the test. I want you to take the test and be excited to figure out what your mind-body type is. This is really, really exciting. And then stay tuned for my next few videos on Ayurveda, where I'll be sharing with you some general lifestyle practices and dietary tips to eat and basically how to eat and how to have the right lifestyles for your mind body type so that you stay in balance or return to a state of balance. Go ahead and download your quiz down below. Do it yourself. Let me know what you got in the comments below. Say Vata, I'm Pitta, I'm Kapha, or I'm just confused. And if you're confused, just share with me what your question is and I will try to help you down in the comments sections below. So I'm Karen and I'm really excited for you to find out what your mind body type. Have a great day.